Hello, Mohammed Hassano. I'm from Syria. Actually, I want to ask why we didn't see the reaction in Syria over 10 years, even though the enemy in Ukraine, it is same in Syria.
Thank you. Very simple question. Right. Panel, I'm going to go in reverse order, because Kathy's always had to take the first one. I think it's a little unfair. In reverse order, you've got literally 30 seconds each. Some of the questions were for you directly. Please.
Well, okay, I'll deal with Farhan and Mohammed's question. Look, moral consistency needs to be applied by everyone, everywhere. It's very easy to point fingers at someone else and what they're doing wrong. It's hard to do it when the person or the community or the country that's doing the wrong is your own. And it's something that all countries need to strive for. And I think what you were saying, Farhan, and of course Mohammed also, is absolutely correct. We all have to be morally consistent. If we condemn the actions of the Syrian government in Syria with respect to Halab or Idlib, or you can take the community destroyed, we have to do the same when it comes to Yemen. We have to do the same when it comes to Libya. We have to do the same when it comes to what the Israelis are doing in the occupied Palestinian territories. We have to be consistent, all of us. And it goes with the conflicts elsewhere. Moral consistency is what gives us integrity. And when we have integrity, we have credibility. When we have credibility, we can get things done. I agree with the two comments made, and they have to be applied by the international community.
Thank you. Actually, if you don't mind, because we're literally time up, I'm going to get Mary. Jenny, if you don't mind, because I think you made good interventions earlier on, and Miguel as well. I'm just going to do Mary, Colin, and Kathy to finish up. Please.
I think I can be very brief, because I want to support what Zaid has said, and to say that that is the approach of the elders. We condemn double standards and have condemned double standards and want that moral consistency in applying, and at the same time it's not an answer to allowing this terrible invasion in the 21st century of an independent country to become somehow a fracturing. It's the West against and we're not really involved. That opens up, I think, much more problems for our world. So I would plead, but I absolutely take the point about there is far too much double standards. I felt that when I served as High Commissioner. I know that Zaid felt it probably even more, because you're from this region. You know, it is true.
Thank you very much. Colin? Quick answer to that question.
Thank you very much. Let me say I agree with the speaker's observation that we need transformation of the multilateral system, not just recommitment to it. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I think Miguel has pointed some of the imperfections that can be fixed. ECOSOC is going through that transformation actually as we speak. Last June, the General Assembly adopted Resolution 75-290 on strengthening of ECOSOC. But that alone would not be enough. We need other institutions, the Security Council. I was listening to the television this afternoon, one observation saying the UN has been rendered helpless as far as the conflict in Ukraine is concerned. But one thing that is clear, it is not the UN in general, but it is the Security Council that is responsible. Finally, I think you picked on the Secretary General's report on our common agenda. I got the impression that you must have read it, because indeed there is a proposal contained in that report on a biennial summit, which is intended to bring together ECOSOC, the Secretary General himself, the G20, and the international financial institutions. So there's already a proposal under consideration, which I hope the member states would consider favorably.
Thank you, Colin. Kathy, you've got the last word.
I would just respond to the questions by saying that I would not suggest in any way that UNICEF is a perfect organization, but we are always guided by what's best for children. We have worked in Syria and in Palestine for years. We continue to work there, and we're always guided by what's best for children. And I would just say to close that, you know, no country that fails to protect children will ever prosper or succeed. And I would encourage everyone to always think about children when you're doing your work or you're sort of thinking about the future, because if we don't protect them, there really is no future.
Thank you very much, panelists. Look, I think what you've seen from this panel is a deep and profound commitment to the problems and the challenges beyond the crisis in Ukraine and their spillover, an understanding that what has been undertaken, the war that Russia is undertaking against Ukraine, is compounding the problems that existed before. And there's a responsibility that comes with this for all of us. But I think we heard from the questions from the floor and the passion as well that consistency and double standards really undermine the capacity for a truly global response and could create, Mary, your worry about the West versus the rest. So everyone's going to have to work very hard to avoid that from happening. Could you please give a very strong hand to the panel? Thank you very much indeed.